Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Before we start today's video, it's another mailbag call. Yes, now is your time to get your question in for a future upcoming mailbag video, which a hint, it'll take place Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of this week. So this video is your chance to put a comment down below, use the hashtag Eagles, ask your Eagles related question, and we'll see if it's good enough to be featured on my show this weekend. So think of a really good question, comment down below right now, and then we'll see if I can put it on my mailbag video coming up in a couple of days. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so as we always do, latest Eagles news and rumors, what is going on in the world of our Philadelphia Eagles, and we start with DeSean Jackson's comments about wanting microphones on players, on all players, if there are no fans in the stands for the 2020 season. You've probably read about this, or saw it on SportsCenter, or saw it on First Take, or something like that, and thought, how would this work? Can this actually be good? But where does this originate? So it all started with DeSean Jackson on Lane Johnson's YouTube channel. Apparently, Lane Johnson has his own YouTube channel, so maybe go search that after you're done with our video here. And this is where it all started, saying that, hey, listen, if we don't have fans, and Jackson talked more about how, it's weird not having fans, and he wants to have fans, but if we don't, then you need to mic every player up. That way fans can listen in and see what it sounds like to be actually on the football field. So Jackson said this, quote, "It's going to get crazy," that's without fans, "I think they should mic up players. I think they should give fans insight to see what's really going on in between the white lines. It gets crazy. I know in the trenches it gets crazy, and on the outside it gets crazy too. The conversations we have going back and forth." So you hear this, and I hear this, and I think every single NFL fan should want this. This would be fantastic. I just don't know how you implement this for a TV viewing audience, aka a PG viewing audience. You get my drift here? There's no way that they can run cuss words. There's no way that they can even run plays and protection calls and linebacker calls and wide receiver changes and adjustments. They can't air that stuff, or else future NFL games in terms of next week, the coaches are going to use that to go ahead and game plan. And you can't be playing cuss words over the air. We know that's not possible due to the TV regulations. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with basically what they do on Monday Night Football anyway, where they mic people up. You wear the Monday Night mic, and then they will go back to the first quarter and play stuff during the second quarter, and of course it's all cleaned up and taken out. But the idea of putting mics on everybody and then just giving fans an open listening in terms of, okay, just listen to what they say in the trenches, listen to Tom Brady make calls at the line, and listen to Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. It's just not going to work overall for a national TV audience, just because the FCC won't actually let it happen. I would love it. I'm not against it. Just don't see how it's actually going to happen. Now, we mentioned that there are obviously teams that will not have their home field advantage because of the crowd. I want to give you guys my NFL's loudest stadiums in terms of my rank, my top 4 loudest stadiums in the National Football League. CenturyLink is number 1, Arrowhead is number 2, the Superdome is number 3, and Sports Authority Field at Mile High Denver Stadium is number 4. Very underrated, very loud stadium is the one up there at Mile High. The Denver Bronco fans are very loud. Phillies, I looked at a couple of rankings, was not ranked in the top 10 for most, which is kind of weird because I've been to Lincoln Financial Field, and it does get very, very loud when the Eagles want to. 2017 NFC Championship game, about as loud as it gets in terms of Lincoln Financial Field, but in terms of the loudest stadiums, these are them, which I think is going to give a lot of teams an advantage in terms of having to go on the road and not deal with crowd noise. It's going to be fascinating to see exactly how this works. The crazy thing, though, is I just don't see how DeSean Jackson is going to get his wish, because the cussing, the players, it's all just a little bit weird, but a great idea. I just don't see it actually happening. Now, I'll ask you guys, should the NFL players be mic'd up in 2020? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. I just gave you my thoughts on it. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. And before we move on, who's going to be mic'd up in all of 2020 and covering the Eagles day in and day out for you? It's me here at Philadelphia Eagles Now. So if you appreciate the show, I greatly appreciate you going ahead and subscribing to Philadelphia Eagles Now as well, because we're approaching, I think, 12,000 subs here. We're trying to grow as fast as we can. So if you like the stuff, like all the news that I give you guys, even during a low news cycle right now because of what's going on, then go ahead and click the red subscribe button as well. Okay, other news here regarding, let's go to the running back spot as we normally do here. It feels like every single day we're talking running back, because every single day we have more news. It feels like it's going to be LeSean McCoy now. Now, a lot of people are going to say, Thomas, you said it was going to be Carlos Hyde, and Thomas, you said it's going to be Devonta Freeman. Well, guess what? It seems like it's going to be LeSean McCoy now. You want to know why? Because they haven't signed any of the other guys, aka they lost Carlos Hyde, and now Devonta Freeman, it looks like he's going to be a Buck, but he remains unsigned. So we go back to LeSean McCoy, who, of course, has said all along he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle, and Eagle players are now coming out and saying just how badly they want LeSean McCoy to be on the team. So DeSean Jackson, on that same YouTube video, actually might have been an Instagram video with Lane Johnson, said this. So DeSean said, how do you feel about Shady coming back? And Lane said he laughed. He said, shoot, I want to see it. So all the players seem to be 100% on board, at least every player that has been with Philadelphia whenever LeSean McCoy was there, and that includes Lane Johnson, and obviously DeSean Jackson, and a lot of other Eagle players as well. They all want to see him come back. My whole problem is, as I've said, is I love Shady. I mean, a lot of people I know respect him as a running back even now. I just don't see him being the former self that he once was in Philadelphia. You slap number 25 on him, slap midnight green, and maybe you find the fountain of youth, but the stats will tell you that it's just not going to be there. Now, the stats when he was in Philadelphia, I mean, good Lord, it's stupid good. He had that one season where it's like he was like 2,000 all-purpose yards and was the best running back in the National Football League. That's where we want it to be. I just don't see it actually getting there, and that's why I've been hesitant about Shady all along. But I'll say this, if they're going to sign a running back, it sure does look like it's going to be LeSean McCoy, if they're going to sign a running back, because, again, they have Clement, they have Boston Scott, they have Miles Sanders, they have Elijah Holyfield. Like, they don't need one, even though I've said before I'd like them to have one. But if I was going to put my money on which one they would sign if they were going to, does that make sense? It would be LeSean Shady McCoy. So if you want to see LeSean Shady McCoy back in midnight green, give this video a thumbs up. That's all I want. I don't need to get any comments down below. I just want you guys to look at that thumbs up button. If you want Shady, click it, and I'll just go ahead and gauge how many of you guys who watched the video click the thumbs up and gauge if Eagle Nation wants you guys to go ahead and get LeSean McCoy. Now, before we move on to our final thing, which is fascinating, by the way, there's a Brian Dawkins jersey sale happening right now, and I wanted to let you guys know about it because we all know if there's one jersey of a former player that has worn the most inside Lincoln Financial Field, it's Brian Dawkins. When I was there, it was all Brian Dawkins jerseys if there was not a modern player. So get yours right now at chatsports.com/Dawkins. It's 20% off. It's the all-black one, to me, my favorite Eagle jersey. And $119. That's it. So on sale. The vintage old Brian Dawkins stuff is on sale right now. The all-black, 20% off for $119. Chatsports.com/Dawkins is the place to go ahead and grab it and pick that one up. Okay, final little bit of news here. Peter King. You know who Peter King is? He's, of course, the NBC, formerly Monday Morning quarterback, and now he works for NBC and writes his column every single week about whatever he wants. So Peter King posted his off-season, preseason NFL power rankings, right? So it's after the draft, after the offseason, here are where all the teams rank in Peter King's mind. Now you're saying, Thomas, we don't care what Peter King thinks, and I don't, but I think it's interesting his view of where the Eagles are because he left them out of his top 10 and put them at number 15, which to me blows my mind because in my opinion, the Eagles are a top 10 team easily, and we'll explain that here in a second. But if you guys think the Eagles are a top 10 team, type 1 down below for yes, type 2 down below for no. We get you guys' thoughts about that down below in the comments section. But as we go back, let me show you what Peter King did here in terms of the top from 11 all the way to 20. So he has the Vikings at 11, the Packers at 12, Bills at 13, Colts at 14, Eagles at 15. Now, we'll break that down quickly. I honestly understand all of it minus the Colts. I would put Philadelphia, if I'm looking at this list, behind the Colts there at number 14. The problem is, in the top 10, is Dallas inside the top 10, Steelers inside the top 10. The Saints is the number 3 team in the NFL. He has some problems inside the top 10, but I understand him putting Philadelphia behind the Vikings, Packers, and Bills because I think those teams technically based on last year are better, although I'd argue the Eagles could beat all those teams right now, but the Colts being there at number 14 to me makes no sense. Now, Peter King gets the rest of it right in terms of 16 through 20 because none of these teams, Rams, Bears, Cardinals, Dolphins, Broncos, should be ahead of Philadelphia. So he has Philadelphia ahead of the right teams, but behind the wrong teams. I think the Eagles are better than Dallas on paper. I think they're better, way better than the Colts on paper, despite the fact that I guess Peter King is really excited about Phillip Rivers being there. They had a good draft class, I guess. But at the same time, I would have put him a little bit higher, jumped him ahead of the Colts, and then left him behind the Vikings, Packers, and Bills. But I would not have had Dallas inside the top 10. I would not have had Pittsburgh inside the top 10 because it feels like Peter King is basically saying, well, Big Ben is like 50 years old, but he's coming back, he's going to be fine. Or Phillip Rivers is like 90, he's coming back, he's going to be fine. So wanted to show you guys where he put Philadelphia. And again, power rankings, do they actually matter? No, because it all matters what happens on the football field. But I just want to get you guys' thoughts on the national media and where they think Philadelphia is right now before the start of the season. Peter King says 15. I say I would put him inside the top 10, but I understand at least putting him behind Vikings, Packers, Bills, and Colts. It's not behind Dallas, and it's not behind the Steelers, in my opinion. But, of course, who am I? I'm just a host of Philadelphia Eagles Now, so that's it. We'll go ahead and get you guys the thoughts in terms of Peter King's thoughts on the Eagles. This is what he's had to say about it. Quote, Darius Slay is a heck of a pickup for the secondary, particularly with the non-division slate of quarterbacks on the way. Niners, Steelers, Ravens, Seahawks, Packers, Saints, Cardinals. I say Week 16, Eagles at Cowboys in the championship game of the NFC East. So, I mean, can't argue with what Peter King says about that. It just is weird that he would put him behind Eagles and behind the Cowboys just because it's going to be the championship matchup in Week 16. Confusing stuff, Peter, but that's how Power Rep rankings work. You make it a little controversial, that way we discuss it and people go and read his article. It's how it works in the national media. Little hint there. All the time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I am Thomas Mott. We'll go ahead and sign off. Let's enjoy the rest of your day.